Oh,
What's that?
first little clip that we put out yesterday.
That was badass. I liked it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I did end up changing my YouTube handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Daniel underscore lot instead of the DOM 24/7.
Oh yeah.
I know what it stands for, but nobody's ever gonna look for it. So
Well, it's funny because so my handle is the November. It's N3570R, right? And it spells Nestor, but a lot of people don't see that. And I've been asked, what's N357? The people that know aviation, that know how to decipher tail numbers, or not really decipher tail numbers, just a tail number. Well, I got the idea back when I started streaming, when I started doing the TikToks, and I started doing, showing people what I do and how I do it. I wanted something that kind of stands out, and I wanted something aviation related, you know. And what better way than to create your name, with different um, symbols,
mm,
it doesn't have to be all letters.
mm,
So fortunate, since we live in the States, no, and November is common. All United States registered, all FAA US registered are start with N. So it's like a country code.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a country code. So any airplane, if you see an airplane with an N, it belongs been registered in the States. If you see something, for example, HK or A something like that, that's Colombia. You see C dash something, and that's Canadian. So there's just different things. Um, I don't want to change the handle. You know what I mean? I don't want to change that.
Right.
I know there's a lot of people who have difficulty with it, and that's fine. You know, but and it takes them a minute to understand it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but once you know, you know. It's just once once you wake up, you wake up.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even. It was pretty clear that it spelled your name when you sent it to me. So I don't know why people have that much trouble with it, but I guess everybody's brain works differently. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it could be something. I mean, we tend to gravitate towards the what's known to us. You know what I mean? We as humans, if the unknown either A scares you or motivates you. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And most people are scared. Most people, I don't want to say the word scared is pretty strong, but if they don't intend to, if they don't try to, if they don't, it's they're pushed away. You know, I don't know. We got to keep an open mind on pretty much everything. Is something that I learned. This world here is not as we know it.
yeah.
Well, it's not as we know it. The other day, I was talking to a friend of mine about you, believe it or not, because he said I mentioned something about um how the world uh gave him, he asked for something and it gave him something completely like left way off, you know, but it was related. And I said, "Were you specific?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You have to be specific." Bob Proctor said once, well, he says it a mountain times, but I'm just saying, in one of the videos that I saw from Bob Proctor, he specifically said that you have to tell the world. I like one of my daily affirmations comes from him, because I am so happy and so grateful now that I have this, you know, so I'm letting the world know, for example, I have a certain amount of money and I'm very grateful for it. Um, and this is my intentions of this money, this for this and this and this. You know what I mean? Like you have to be specific. You
Mm,
have to be specific. Because if I just say, "Oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I am," that I'm rich. Okay, well, what kind of rich? Because I know people that are extremely wealthy that have no money.
mm,
And I know extremely wealthy people that hate their lives. So
yeah.
it doesn't matter. I've also learned that the world is not uh it's not bad. There's nothing bad. I think we already talked about this one. That there's nothing bad. It's always uh it is what it is. It just is. It just is. There's nothing, absolutely nothing bad about any situation. Because if it happens to you that you didn't like it, it hurt you, it affected you, well, you needed to break.
Mm,
In order to grow, you got to break the muscles, right? You have to
right.
rip the muscles. In order to grow, you have to break yourself. I guess you could say it that way. So
Yeah, I think in order to grow, you just have to usually shift your perspective and you look for the silver lining even if it's not there is what I've started to notice. Because like nothing's bad. Well, I mean, stuff's bad, stuff's unfair, but it doesn't change the fact is it's kind of what it is. Like I know this amazing, kind, faith-filled woman that had like some very very aggressive cancer pop up. Like she eats clean, she works out, doesn't rarely drinks, doesn't smoke, and it's like esophageal cancer. And she had to have like this major surgery and have all these things moved around inside of her body for her to live. And it's like, well, nothing's bad. Well, yeah, well, I mean, it still sucks. Like, it's not fair, but is there a silver lining there? I don't know. I don't see it personally. I think it's messed up, but that woman has the best disposition about it. There's a kind, grateful, happy to be alive. And so you just look at people that go through stuff like that, and then it was like, oh, I lost $100. It's huh? Like that's what you're mad about today? Oh, they talked to me wrong. Oh well, like things like my freaking kitchen right now. Like there's a hole in the wall of my kitchen because there's a pipe leaking when they flipped the house to us, and like all of that has to be ripped out. So my kitchen, my master bathroom, all of that. And like my wife is like, she's like, this isn't fair. It's like, yeah, okay. Um, what does it still is. And it's like, we have insurance. And like silver lining, hey, we'll get some new cabinets, new floors, all the bathroom, all this other stuff, but it's just a pain in the dick. But it is. So it's stuff like that. And she was just like, yeah, yeah, I never thought about picking up new cabinets. And it's a little shift there. It's still a pain, but hey, there's some good there, right? Hey, maybe I'll increase the value of my house a little bit, whatever. So it's
you're
yeah,
right.
it's
It is
perspective.
on the mind shift, but I think a person needs to, when somebody starts shifting their mind, or somebody wants to start shifting their mind, um, they have to be connected to themselves. They have to be able to go deep, to go deep inside. I mean, there's a thousand things that go through your mind every second. You know what I mean? It's just you have to choose, pick and choose which ones you pay attention to. I mean, there's shit
Mhm.
that goes through our mind that is really unrepeatable. It's not that we are that person. It's not that we are that entity. You know, it's just yeah, you've heard about parallel realities, you've heard about parallel dimensions, parallel worlds, and so forth.
Heard about it.
There's something that I do that I learned from a there's a an app, a company out there called Mind Valley. Have you heard of it?
Mind what?
Mind Valley.
No.
Google it. You'll see what I mean.
Oh,
Mind Valley.
you know I would.
Mind Valley um, is an app precisely about that. How to literally better you, starting with
Hmm.
your mind, because that's everything is there. With a strong mind, you can build a strong physical body, you can build a strong family, you can still build everything. So in this app, there's thousands of programs that you can subscribe to. And one of these, there is a gentleman, his name is Brett, forgot his last name. I will actually, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do this without messing anything up. Let's see here.
Brett
Uh,
Baller.
yes, the old man, the 85-year-old guy right there. He doesn't look that old, but so this guy figured out how to quantum leap, right?
Okay.
And he's 80 something years old, and he becomes the best at anything that he puts his mind to. And I started doing some research on this, and that's pretty much like before I did this, I've done this course. I used to do something similar because I figured out, like, wait a moment, in order for me to achieve full success in anything that I do, I need to become that best version of myself that knows how to do that. And that's pretty much anything and everything. What do I mean, Ness? Okay. Um, what's one instrument, Danny, that you wanted to play, or that you're like that you like, and you're like, you know what, I think I'd like to do that. Do you
I
have one?
played the keyboard.
Great. So you're a pianist, right? Somewhere in some parallel reality, you are a master pianist
Hmm.
in some parallel reality. And the only thing that you need to do is go out there and visually put yourself in front of that master. Watch him visually. You know, you go into a slight meditation, you go into your alpha waves, come down, and then you start visualizing, you start realizing, okay, cool. So now I see Daniel, he's playing the keyboard, he's in a fucking huge, he's at the Australian what is that?
The Philharmonic.
That Philharmonic, he's over there
How
and
do I
he's
know this?
I just telling you because you've been there and you're fucking and you're over there and you're fucking ding, 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 ding. There's tens of thousands of people there fucking cheering for you. And dude, I get goosebumps just thinking about it because I know it. I know it's happened. You know what I mean? It's just I feel like it's happened. You're there, and now you visualizing that you're watching yourself fucking just blow the roof off this place. Then after he's done, you go back in there and you go over there and when he's doing something, you go in there and you become him. Like you merge your body. So now you feel him. Now you're thinking like him. Now you're physically you're sitting down on the keyboard, on the piano, and you start playing something that you know what to do. You know, it's like
Hmm.
bing, bing, bing. And then you just let him take over in your mind. What does that do? it automatically connects you to it. It automatically says, I have the power. And something in there is going to spark something in you here. So, in that parallel reality, because I mean, literally, if you listen to this meditation, you have to go in, find the door of that parallel universe, open the door, go inside. And once you're inside, you're in that other parallel universe. Then you come back out feeling refreshed, feeling wide awake. Yeah, yeah. I
That's
try
crazy.
to I try to do this every single day. When I say I try to do this, as soon as I wake up, I try to do this every single day as soon as I wake up. Like the first 15, 20 minutes that I wake up, I did it this morning.
Mm.
The one that I did this morning was having a uh was health. I'm
Mm.
very concerned about certain family members' health because of the way we eat, that we have been taught to eat. And there's a lot of foods out there that, even though when you and I were growing up was fine, nowadays it's not. It's they've added so many chemicals, so many carcinogens, so much bullshit that even guys in mid-age guys like ourselves, like, dude, I used to do that. What's wrong with it? It's not the same fucking food. All this
Oh, look.
processed bullshit and all that stuff. And that's, listen, it's fogging our minds that we're creating diabetics. We're creating. So the one that I did this morning was specifically about that. Not that we have overweight people, not that we have, not that, just straight up worried about their physical beings. And that's what I did this morning, you know?
Look, that right there with the whole the food and what's served here in America, not all over the world, but here in America.
America, correct.
So when I don't know, gosh, I was probably in my early 20s, 20 years ago. When I was driving a wrecker, I had started throwing up a lot, and I narrowed it down to it was when I ate eggs. And so, uh, for America, like you grow up on eggs, like no big deal. But over the course of the years, they start changing what they're feeding the chickens and the hormones and the antibiotics and the steroids, so on and so forth. So I had developed what I thought was an allergy to eggs.
Okay.
And when me and my wife got married in my early 30s, let's see here, I we went to this herbalist, naturopath guy down in Naples, and craziest thing is he's like, you got the candida. And so when people talk to me like that, when they're like, you got and then they say it, and he's like pulling out newspaper articles and all sort of stuff. I'm like, this dude's a freaking psycho. But whatever, I try to keep an open mind to most things. So, I did what he said. I bought his expensive probiotics. I did some colloidal silver that he sold me in water. And I did that for, I don't know, probably 3 months. So the reason why we went to see him was because of the heartburn issues, because I had acid reflux. So that ultimately cured the acid reflux and like just stopped it cold. I got off all the medications that the doctor had put me on. Perfect. But while he was there, he was just like, yeah, he's like, you're not allergic to eggs. He's like, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's actually allergic to eggs that has that allergy. He's like, you're allergic to what they feed the chickens. And I was like, I don't get that. And I was like, every time I eat an egg yolk, I vomit. He was like, yeah. He's like, that's where it's concentrated at. He's like, because it hasn't developed out of the embryo into the full thing. He's like, try it. Hey, eat an organic egg, non-GMO or organic. Dude, I couldn't believe it. And me and my wife, I went to a path where we were already eating cleaner and we were doing organic everything, but I wouldn't touch the eggs. I could eat the whites, but not the yolks. I wouldn't touch them, and because it would give me immediate flu symptoms. And then, I mean, I lived like that for over a decade, and I didn't have
Wow.
to. So, but now, still to this day, if I go to like IHOP, First Watch, any of these big chains, and it's like
Egg
if I
whites.
tell them, yeah, if I try to eat the egg whites, and if it like touches it, It's like I'm in the bathroom vomiting, so I usually don't eat that stuff in there either. But to what you're talking about, the food that we grew up on is not the same food that we're eating now, and it's just nuts. And it's like all this stuff, the wonderful, beautiful vitiligo that makes me so unique and like I look like a grouper or brindle of a human being. Like
Fucking
that's all new.
beautiful.
Like I didn't have that when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, and I was like, it's 100% of what they put in our food. And even the crazier thing is when I went in for the upper endoscopy, and I think I got the picture over there in my file cabinet. They took a picture of my stomach lining, and it looks like this. It's all split splash, and he was just like, dude, I've never seen anything like it. I was like, yeah, me neither. It's crazy, huh? He was just like, and they don't know what causes it. I was like, it's the food. He's like, how do you know? I was like, it's gotta be. And it's like it's food, it's lifestyle choices. That's why like I go through the detox phases now, and where I stopped drinking for periods of time because like it's been 2 days since I've been like doing what I've done, and my face is already clear. And like the colors of my the color of my lips is back to pink and not white. It's insane. It's like we live in a culture where it is celebrated to poison ourselves every weekend.
I heard a meme, not a meme. I heard a little short post, a little an older lady talking about how kids that are preschool, pre-kindergarten, their fucking doctors are saying if your kid has high cholesterol, it needs to be on cholesterol medications. Three, dude. You know what I mean? Like preschool, kindergarten care. I mean, you're 3, 4, 5 years old. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's crazy. Yeah, it's something that. What are you doing? So we're
That's a
creating.
lifetime customer right there.
That's exactly the point. Because listen, I made the mistake once of uh, thinking that my doctor knew was best for me and told me, "Oh, you have high cholesterol. You need to be on this medication." And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I started taking it, and then I started coughing.
Mm.
And I lasted a month, and I dropped down like 30 pounds in that month.
Okay.
Couldn't keep.
Jeez.
I couldn't keep any food down. None whatsoever. I just kept coughing and coughing and coughing and coughing. Went to the doctor and went to the doctor for something. And the lady mentioned, I went to the doctor because of the cough. It would never go. I just didn't know what the hell was going on. And they were like flabbergasted. I don't know. And it wasn't until a nurse looked at me and she goes, "You have high cholesterol?" I'm like, "Supposedly." She goes, "You take medications?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." She goes, "What did you take?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's in the records. I have no idea. What you guys gave me." Once again, this is before I had any openness or consciousness of what's going on with me. Um, and she goes, "That's a side effect." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "The cough." And I'm like, "Oh, so this medication is actually producing the cough, which made me lose weight, which made me look like this." I mean, because I was like, you know,
Wasting away.
and I was like, "Okay." I went home, threw them away. She's like, "We're gonna send you new ones," and I'm like, "I don't want anything." I threw them all away, and they're like, "You're not taking your cholesterol." I said, "No, I am not," because first of all, high cholesterol, it depends. Unless your triglycerides are out the fucking roof, high cholesterol is actually pretty good for you. She's like, "That's not what we." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." And I started studying about that, and I said, "Forget about it." And I don't take anything. I don't take any extra pills. Um, I've been following a lot this the 10x health guy, I think, or Gary Brecka.
Oh, jeez. Gary Brecker, the one that's been working with like Dana White.
The what?
Yeah, the guy that's been working with Dana White.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I had a chance of I met Grant Cardone once down at the airport, and fucking guy was like, "Hey, come to the office. Let's sit down and talk. Let's see what you know." I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I tried to make appointments. Didn't fucking work. It's impossible to reach that guy, unless I had 50 grand to pay him for an hour, and that's not what
Right.
I needed to do, you know. But so I started following him. I've been following Grant for a long time, and then when he started, dealing with Gary, and everything Gary teaches is like an awe to me. It's like, oh, I start reaching. I was like, oh my god, motherfuckers, it's real. So using his theories, using everything, my next step is to do that DNA test. So did you know
Okay.
that we have a genetic gene mutations? There's common gene mutations in humans. There's 5 common gene mutations. So like for example, if depression runs in your family, right? It's a gene mutation. It's not the depression. Why is it a gene mutation? There's something in there that you are lacking and you're not producing because your body needs some type of,
Mm-hmm.
it's missing a nutrient, it's missing something,
Yeah. It's like a
and that's why
nutrient
you
deficiency.
correct, because your body doesn't metabolize whatever it is that it needs to do. So is that we're under the impression that, oh, you need more vitamin A. Let's start fucking eating more vitamin A. Well, no, whatever we eat, our body doesn't metabolize it like that. It creates it. It absorbs it. It'll do things. So what's the point of that? It's trying to fix that. So that's my next step. It's like $1,000 for this DNA test, and I don't want to just do it for
Hmm.
one person. I want to do it for the whole family. I'm gonna spend like 4 or 5 grand,
Gotcha.
you know. And I want to be fair about it. You know?
Gotcha. You said something about the high blood pressure. So
No,
when
I said cholesterol.
high cholesterol. So a couple years ago, let's see here, when I just switched primary cares, and she was like awesome. She was really big on blood work. Um, and she like had me go back, go back, go back. And that she was the first person that was like, you need to, consider drinking less because your triglycerides are high. I was like, okay. Um, and she was like, well, she was like, if you don't, she was like, you're going to end up damaging the production of your bone marrow, which is kind of a big deal. I was like, first time I heard that. All right, so we'll go ahead. And I was like, cool, I'll just stop drinking for 75 days. Hence the 75 hard. And she was like, you should just like cut back to the, having a couple on the weekends. I was like, let's just do a reset. Hmm. And then I did it, and everything went back to normal. Switched doctors, got back to old habits, went on vacation, and like I'd been on vacation for a week in Colorado. And when I go see my dad, like we drink beer. Like that's because that's I see my dad maybe once a year if I'm lucky. So like when I hang out with my dad, we're gonna hang out. And we came back. So moral of that story is don't get your blood work done after you go on vacation. So we went back, and I went to the new doctor, and she was like, I'm gonna go ahead and prescribe you this statin. I was like, for what? And she's like, well, your triglycerides are really high. It's not the first time it's happened, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, I just told you I've been on vacation for like a week. I literally just got back 2 days ago. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm gonna go. I was like, I'm not taking that. And she's like, well, you really need to consider it. I was like, I'm like, I literally just told you, like, I'm not going to take this drug. And she's like, all right, well, we'll come back in. I think I went back like 60 days later for a follow up. And she's like, what'd you do? I was like, I told you. It was like, I was on vacation. And it's like, so I just tightened up. I ate clean, didn't drink, hydrated properly, took my vitamins, exercised. I did all the things that we know we're supposed to do that we choose not to because sometimes we get lazy. I was like, I got lazy. I had enjoyed myself, having a good time. I still worked out every single day when I was out there, but if you're putting poison and toxins and things in your body, it's still going to store it. And it's going to have to react to all those different things. And so it's like, yeah, well, I live a healthy life. I work out every day. I walk around the block. I was like, all right, cool. You do all that, but it's still like that. the movement is only one piece of the puzzle. The other side of it is what you're putting into the chemistry set to get out. And I think a lot of people like just don't simply understand that. It's like you know, 1 + 1 = 2. Like regardless of what anybody's ever going to tell you, it's never going to change. It's like no matter what they say on the internet, it's like yeah, no, it's still 1 + 1 = 2. It doesn't matter. So if you want the better outcome, then you're going to have to do the things like you're talking about, looking at what's going in your body, how your body's going to react to it, so you get the best outfit out of it. And that's why I'm always like, everybody's like, yeah, I'm so unhealthy. It's like, yeah, well, go to andrewfrisella.com, look at the 75 Hard program, watch the videos, pick what you want to do, find a diet you can stick to, and lock in and do it for 75 days, and then go back and see where you're sitting. And I'm like, well, not everybody can do that. Everybody can walk around the block. If they can't, look, the first time I completed that program, I tweaked my back on day like 74.
Ouch.
And my wife legit was like, all right, you ready? I was like, I had to get shot to Toradol on my back to be able to walk. And she's like, all right.
Ouch.
We legit walked around the block. It took us 45 minutes to go like a half a mile. But
Wow. They still did
the
it.
ability, that's what's up. But it's still possible for you to be able to get out there and move, even if it's uncomfortable and painful. Well, like 2 days later, I can move again, and I was walking again. I was back at work. So, like, to be able to push through something that's totally uncomfortable, inconvenient, kind of painful sometimes, if it's not going to do the detrimental damage, yeah, you can start moving.
While you
Your
were
hotel's
talking,
popping, bro.
yeah, I can't talk. What a fucking ass. I can't say it. There's yeah. So listen, while you were talking, there was something that reminded me of oh my god, I just lost it. You just started you all I can think about is the hotel now.
It'll come back. It always does.
I know. I'm sorry. Uh wait, that's right. Little things in your body. Oh, I'm allergic to I have no idea. I think I'm allergic to shrimp. I think the shellfish, right? And when I actually did a uh what do you call it, allergy test, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
they did an allergy test on me, but it was just blood work. They just did a blood work thing. They didn't put anything on my skin, or how sometimes they'll make a map and they'll put like different
The prick
things.
test.
The little prick
Yeah,
test, yeah.
yeah.
You
I've had a few of them.
I have, yeah, that little prick test. They didn't do that to me. They just did the blood work. And the blood work said, yeah, you're allergic to this. I'm allergic to milk. I'm allergic to fucking and I started thinking, I was like, I'm not allergic to milk. I must be allergic to something they put in them,
Mm.
you know? And I understand that lactose really isn't the best fucking food to eat every fucking day, you know? So I cut it down tremendously. I used to drink maybe 2 glasses of milk a day, you know?
No kidding.
And I cut it down to only just a splash for my coffee, you know?
Mm.
So, because when I'm on my road trips, I miss my coffee. I have a beautiful fucking coffee machine that everybody looks and wow. Like, yeah, I spent the
Oh,
money.
you're
I
one of
spent
those
the
guys.
I
Okay.
spent the money. I spent the money. Dude, I grind my own beans. My beans come from all over the world.
Nice.
I have a service that the beans come in and it'll tell me this month the beans are from India. This month they're from Honduras. Their month they're uh from India. They're from Colombia. They're from whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Dude, we got Turkish coffee. Whatever it is. We have so I tried that and so I bought the machine. Dude, I'd make like cappuccinos, espressos, and all that stuff. So I became a barista.
Nice.
I just still don't know how to do the milk thing.
But,
I,
uh,
you know.
you just need to get a frother. You froth it.
Oh no, I have a frother.
Yeah,
I was just told to be quiet by a crackhead.
that's hilarious.
Now I can say it. I'm in a crackhead. There's fucking people all the
Yeah.
time. 24 hours. But anyway, so all the milk. So the shrimp, um, when I was 5 years old, I remember I ate a whole bunch of shrimp and I got sick. My mom said, "Oh, you probably ate too much." About a month later, I remember that she made some more shrimp and I ate shrimp and then I got sick and it was really bad. I mean, I was starting to throw it up and everything, you know? And she's like, "Oh my God, you're allergic to shrimp." I didn't even know that was a thing. So that I stopped eating shrimp for the rest of my life but I kept eating crab legs. I kept eating lobster. I, as the older I got, I couldn't eat lobster. And then the older I got, I couldn't eat crab legs, you know? Um, and then I realized it's not the substance itself, it's how it's prepared or where it comes from. There's something
Hmm.
in because I can go to a bocce restaurant and they can just drop the shrimp right there. You know how they always give you two, you know what I mean? Like, oh, here's two for each one, extra, like a little appetizer. Well, I stuck one in a couple of times that I've done that, and I'll try it out and see how I'm doing.
Hmm.
And if I get a reaction, immediately I'll know not to go back to that restaurant because
Right.
there's some restaurant and I was like, that's amazing. Um, but the chemicals, like we were talking about, it's really affecting us. Like you said, it was the eggs, what they're feeding the chicken, you know, dude, a carton of eggs is like $8 now, right?
Yeah.
And now that I've conscious, I want to grow chickens. I told my wife, I was like, I, I, in my household, easily there's 12 eggs a day. They're gone, you know, easily. And we spend the money. We spend the money and we get the good quality eggs. We always get like 30, 40 eggs, you know, three, 4 dozen. Fucking, and the milk, my mom was like, "Oh, you drink some almond milk or some soy milk." And if you read that stuff, it's covered in sugar, high fructose corn syrup, all the extra additives. Uh, that's not really good for you either. On the contrary, that's actually worse. You know, I just don't understand how we've survived for thousands and thousands of years. And Western medicine just started back in the fucking, what is it, 20s and the 30s, something like that. So only for about 100 years do we know, have we been doing what we've been doing? You know what I mean? Like or knowing what we know. It's only been around for about 100 years. So then it clicked. Then it clicked. Everything in our lives, in our worlds, as we know it, the world as we know it, is only affected by the last 150 years. 150 years from the future, you know, if you were from the day you were born to 150 years later, right? Nobody's going to remember you.
Yeah. You're literally be
Nobody.
2 generations from nobody knowing your name.
There's exactly. You're 2 generations from nobody knowing who the fuck you were or why they're here or whatever it is. And that's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. And it's like, wait a moment. So if we only know this much, then we need to focus on the aspects of bettering the very little piece. We're focusing on everything when in reality we need to focus on very little. Once again, where am I getting at? Everybody talks about it, and what we never really know is that when you dig deep and you go into yourself, I know for a fact now, I know for a fact, I still don't do it, but I know for a fact because now I have no cravings for it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not on my palate anymore. But I know that I can eat certain things if I cook them. If I cook them, I can eat the shrimp, I can eat the lobster, I can eat the crab legs. If I get them fresh, if I grab it straight from the ocean, right,
Hmm.
and cook it myself, there's nothing more. There's nothing better than that. Do it right there. I won't eat like frozen fish and shit like that and stuff that's been holding off because the high contents of iodine, the high contents of other things that we really don't need. It's not stuff, although they say, oh, iodine is good for you. Yes, but in certain quantities, but not in the way that everything, this world is full of abundance, right? This world is full of abundance. And just like there's positivity of good things for you, there's also things that are just not. But we
Right.
tend, but our bodies are so miraculous that they can adapt. So how is it that I want to live my life? How is it that I need to do this? And that's the process that I need to follow by asking myself. So while you and I were talking and you're telling me your story, I was thinking about the 75 hard and how I'm going on vacation and how you're telling me that you drink your beers with your dad and this and that. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, and I said to myself, I want to fucking do the 75 hard. I want to do, but I'm trying, but I'm giving myself an excuse to come back from vacation because I know I'm gonna have a beer. I know I have a drink. I'm not a drinker. I don't consider myself a drinker, but I will have a beer with a friend. I will have a drink with a
Right.
friend. I would enjoy a conversation while I'm sipping a nice whiskey. You know, it's just so I don't want to like ruin my 75 hard. So then I had a little voice in the back of the head. Once you open that door, that little voice is gonna start.
That little
He's
your
gonna start.
voice.
That little voice comes up. He goes, "It's okay. You can restart."
Yeah, it's devious. It's so
That's what he goes.
devious.
He said to me, he goes, "It's okay. You can restart, right? It's okay." And then I said, "I don't want to restart. That's the whole point." And
Right.
then and then my voice goes, "You need to warm up."
Wow.
I can't
Well,
believe.
so the program, like the good and bad of it is it's going to make you have some inconveniences and like you're going to have social events and all these other things that are going to come into play. Like you're going to go on vacation, you're going to go to a wedding, and it's going to test that level of commitment to completing the task. And when I went to there was a meet and greet where they had all the bigs meet at Millennial Brewing down here, and I'm standing there drinking water, and it's like free drinks, and so everybody's like having a good time and drinking water. And they're like, "Dude, you don't drink?" I was like, "No, I drink." He's like, "Well, why aren't you drinking?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm on phase one of this program." And there's a girl over there that knew what it was, and she's like, "You are?" And then he's like, "Why does she look so impressed or whatever?"
Yeah,
And so I'm telling him about this program and what it's done and how it's affected my life and all this other stuff. And it was just like some superpower to have a little bit of
self
fortitude
control.
and to like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. A little bit of self control. And he's like, "Oh man, I can never do that." I was like, "Well, if you keep on telling yourself that, that's exactly what you're going to believe that. I mean, say it again. Yeah, maybe you didn't hear yourself." He's like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "I do exactly what I said." I was like, everything you speak, the power of the spoken word. Like even if you just like you read the Bible, it was like He spoke it into existence. Like everything is just it, it's it's kind of like a spell. Like you're
It is.
like just
It is. It is. It is. That's exactly what it is. That's why you think it. That's like like when you're writing. It's cursive. You're cursing something. You're creating a
Oh wow.
curse. Yeah. So when you're why is this called spelling? Because you're creating a spell, right? You yes, I agree.
Literally.
1000%. Yeah, it really is, and we tend to not know, and when you don't know, you're just like, oh, fuck my life. Oh,
Yeah.
every time when you shit on yourself. But I've also known that it doesn't matter how hard you try. If you have chemical imbalance in your body, it's like hitting your head against the wall. You're not going to be able to break it. You're not going to be able to. It's just not going. It's just not going. It's just not going. It's just not going. Um, I know a lot of people that know exactly what to do, and they're great at telling you what's going on, but they can't do it themselves.
Mm.
They can't do it themselves, and that's what I think. What separates um, the good from the great,
Mm.
right? If you learn to control it, I think there was an old. I don't know who it was, but I remember hearing it. And there's nothing more dangerous than a man who had learned to control the beast within him, right? A gentle man that has learned to control the beast. Because
Mm.
if you don't experience certain things in life, you won't awaken that giant that life literally gives you every opportunity to explore every single aspect of you. Absolutely. There are tons and tons of information about people that says, hey, if people that kind of figured it out. And it's so simple that only a certain 1-2% of the population do it, you know, do it effectively.
Mm.
You could have a quarter or half the population go, oh yeah, I meditate, I do yoga, I do this, I do this. So, but are they really being effective? You know what I mean? You look at
Effective
their
and
lives.
consistent.
We The consistency parts, the effectiveness, the I think honestly that if we tend to really, really take a good look in the mirror, you know how they say first thing you should do, wake up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror 6 feet away from the. Did you know that 6 feet away from the mirror? Don't stand close to the mirror and talk to yourself because you're gonna find every single defect on your body.
So it's
Right?
all.
Oh, how about this one? Look at that,
Oh, yeah, I saw it. I was like, that's a good little egg.
dude. I cracked my fucking forehead.
I already knew what it came from. I was like, yeah, you got cracked.
I was talking to a customer and I'm on the phone. I'm on my headset and I'm literally searching for an email that supposedly they sent me, and I'm looking like this, and all of a sudden, bam! Because I was walking
Oh.
like this, yeah, and then bam! So I hit the wing, the aft part of the wing,
Nice.
right there like that. It automatically, boom! I dropped to the floor, and I just started chuckling. I'm like, oh, what an idiot! So I'm sitting down, and my assistant looks over. He goes, dude, you all right? I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And then he came over. He goes, Nest, I heard it. And then he's over on the other side of the hangar. And he goes, I mean, you heard it? He goes, I heard it. He goes, I didn't know what it was until I saw you on the ground. I'm like, yeah, dude, I hit myself hard. And then he goes, dude, look at you. I don't know. By the time he walked to me and then he started talking to me, it went,
Yep.
fucking, I didn't take a picture. I told him, I was like, take a picture. I was like, ah! I'm gonna clean you up. I'm fucking.
Freaking out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've never been in a fight where I, cracked my face or I've never had anything, uh, no busted eye or whatever. This one here, this is my first time, and I get hit in the head and start cracking it.
Self-inflicted. Nice.
But anyway, back to it real quick. We need to no, we in order to have full access to the abundance of life, the abundance of this world. I mean, there's never you in order to have access to it, you have to believe. Number one, have ultimate belief in yourself. I mean, all right, you're a Christian, and in the Bible, Jesus did say that the what is it that the world of God is inside you, and he also mentioned that hold on, to have the faith of a mustard seed, right? What is it? To change the world, you have to have the faith of a mustard seed, something like that.
Yeah, the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains.
Correct. That you have to have faith in anything and everything you do. And the only way you can do that is by truly believing that you are capable and trying it and trying it and trying it and doing it. You know, that leads me back again to the book The Slight Edge. In the book The Slight Edge, it also talked about how um in the beginning you have what they call learned knowledge, right? So you have learned knowledge. Why? Because you're learning it and learning it and learning it. Some people get stuck here because they become bookworms and they become so proficient and they know exactly what to do. They memorize every fucking step. They do everything, but they're not really professionals. And those people skip a major step. Listen to this. You have learned knowledge. Then you have action knowledge, right? So once you have the learned knowledge, then you have to jump into action knowledge. And what's action knowledge? Action knowledge is going to teach you what doesn't work. Because even though you know the theory behind it, action knowledge, you're still going to make some mistakes. And you're not going to know until you make those mistakes. Once you have action knowledge, then you can become the teacher. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Action knowledge really is the one that makes you the master so that you can teach it to somebody else. So you have to have the faith. You have to truly, 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 truly believe in your capabilities, in yourself. If there's any doubt, it's okay because we're not perfect, but just do something. Start building that character. Start building that life. Start putting it on paper. Why do you think journaling? We were talking about of creating characters. Why do you think journaling is so important?
Mm.
In journaling, you're not talking to anybody. You're just writing down your thoughts. Most people don't know how to journal, and I include myself in one of them. But I learned that if I just sit down and just start writing, I'm supposed to write something. Daniel said I need to write something. So today is fucking so and such date, blah, blah, blah. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm half asleep. And I just start writing. You just start writing. You get a mental, but just start writing anything, you know? Start writing. But not writing blabberish. Just start writing real words. Start creating a sentence. Start creating. And next thing you know, and start focusing on those aspects and start asking the right questions. Start asking yourselves, questions of how is this going to help me? How is this going to hurt me? How is this? And if this hurts me, start creating that diagram all through while you're journaling. What are you doing? You're creating a spell, right? You're bringing it into existence. You're bringing whatever the fuck it is that you're bringing, you're creating. Now it went from imagination to reality in this physical world, in this world, because now it's written. And here's the thing, if it's just written, it's not enough. Now you have to speak it and you read it. And once you speak it, and now for some reason, I don't know how it works, but everything, the universe aligns and spins to make sure that by the time that you are ready, that item, that idea, that thing you wanted is there for you as a reward.
100%. That's the beauty of it. When I looked at journaling, like I started journaling, gosh, 2015 is when I finally and the majority of the stuff that I wrote down in the journal, the conversation that I was having with myself turned into speeches that I gave, 5-6 years later, which was just crazy. But on that note, I gotta run because we're already 30 minutes over.
Oh,
so I'll catch up with you later.
Peace out, brother. I'll talk to you mañana. Bye.
Bye.